Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Batje's Take, where every week we pause, reflect, and make meaning out of the incredible conversations happening on the podcast. I'm Batje Chibafa, and today I want to reflect on my recent conversation with Dennis Mambure, who is a brand and corporate communications expert. But before I get into the actual content of the episode, I have to share the story behind how this episode even came out last week. Because honestly, the lesson started long before I pressed published. By the way, if you haven't listened to it, do head over to Spotify, Apple, YouTube, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And while you're there, don't forget to follow us, like, rate. So here's what happened. The episode that was actually scheduled for last week couldn't be published. Our editor realized that there were some technical challenges he would not be able to fix in time to publish it. So suddenly the entire production schedule stalled. And there I was, I needed something to go out. Thankfully, I had this conversation with Dennis that was almost ready. It was meant for a later date. It was scheduled for a later date. I had a plan, and it was meant to follow another episode. There was a certain flow to it all. But because it was the only episode close enough to being finished, it became the backup plan that saved the week. And that in itself was such a reminder that preparedness, flexibility, and the behind-the-scenes reality of creating a podcast are quite a lot. Sometimes what looks seamless on the outside has a whole story behind it. But I'm so glad it worked out because the feedback on the episode has been amazing. One listener sent me a message that summarized the conversation so beautifully that I felt this week I am not going to share my 3 takeaways that I usually do. I'm just going to read out this summary word for word. So here we go. Personal branding is normally built from strong corporate brand experience and exposure. Storytelling can build or destroy a brand. Brand scalability is critical. Is it built from the inside out? Education, experience, and exposure, the power of the 3 E's. Experience is not doing the same things year after year. New learnings should be inherent. Experience is cross-cultural exposure across the organization. Hashtag unlearn, relearn, and continue learning. AI should complement your knowledge and skills. Behavior around money is important in life. The business of business is to make profit through capacity building. Proper business is built on record keeping, auditing, and business structures with proper regulatory adherence. Every business is in the business of people. Hashtag passion, purpose, people. Leaving a legacy of positive impact. Hashtag start early, fail, correct, and restart. When I read this, I thought, yes, this is exactly why I love having conversations like the one I had with Dennis. It's multifaceted with many layers. It's very practical, it's personal, and it has some strategy to it. But what's more important for me was that it reminds us that brand building is not just a marketing exercise. It's also a character exercise, a leadership journey, and a consistent commitment. I want to shift now to celebrating growth mindset leaders. In my last Batje's Take, I asked listeners to share stories of leaders who demonstrated a growth mindset, leaders who shaped them, stretched them, or set them on a path of excellence. And I did get one that I want to share today. I received a message from a listener, and so I'm going to close today by sharing his reflection about someone who really made an impact on his career. So here's what he wrote, open quotes. I'm in the finance field and I got my best accounting training from Delta, from my boss, the late Sam Nyamukutu, who was a good mentor and trainer who molded me into a thorough accountant. He is late now, but he was an exceptional trainer. He was old school. He taught us how everything was integrated. One year, I got an offer from another company and I went to explain to him that I would be leaving. He asked me the details of the offer and his response was, "No, don't go. With your freedom of speech and personality, where you say what you think and you are such a liberal character, you'll be fired in no time. Here, we know you don't mean any harm." I love this story so much because it reminds us that growth mindset leaders don't just teach skills. They understand people, they guide you, they see ahead of you, they make you aware of decisions that may harm you, and they know you. They know how everything connects. So today we honor the late Sam Nyamukutu, a true example of a growth mindset leader whose legacy lives on in the people he trained. Let me share some final thoughts on last week's episode. A production glitch turned into a lesson on preparedness. A conversation on brand building turned into a masterclass on purpose, people, structure, and lifelong learning. And a listener's tribute reminded us why leadership matters deeply. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing your stories, and please keep sending them in. Send in the names and reflections of the growth mindset leaders who shaped your journey. I will continue to read them and celebrate them here. Until next time, stay inspired.